Hello, Mavericks. Good morning. Good afternoon to some of you. And wow, we even have a couple in Asia. Good evening. Okay, before we jump in and get started, we are here meeting for the ECB Press Conference, June. So let's just jump into it. We've got about 10 minutes until the press conference actually starts. Now remember, this is a little bit different than other news trading series in the fact that right now we usually have like a definite date. Like on this date, on this time, you're going to get an announcement. We're meeting for a press conference. So what that means is that we know when the press conference starts, but we have no idea what is going to be said, and we have no idea when it's going to be said. So this one's always a little bit different in the fact that you can't just have an order ready right here at 8:30 Eastern time to be ready to catch a trade. This is going to start at 8:30, but we don't really know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. Now, typically, you can expect the first 5 minutes of the press conference is mostly going to be reading a statement. So Christine Lagarde, who's the central bank president, she's going to read the statement. And that statement has already been released. And so, again, the ECB does it differently. They announce their rate statement 45 minutes before, and then they have their press conference after. So they've already released a statement, and basically they said there was no change in interest rates today, but they're going to be raising interest rates fairly aggressively going forward. They're going to be ending their net assets purchases or bond purchases immediately, and will basically be raising rates from this point on. So that's what we have for the statement. And what we now need to wait for is her to read her statement, and then she's going to be taking questions from the press. The press conference usually lasts about 40 minutes. Give or take a little bit, but all of the most difficult questions are going to be asked right in the beginning. So you really have kind of this window of 8:35 Eastern Standard Time to about 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, where if there is going to be a move, it typically comes right around that time. So let's jump into the markets and let's see where we stand here on our velocity right now. I'm going to start off with the dollar. Let's just start off at the top. And you can see here, this is the dollar, and you can see that we are basically flat. We got moving averages have flattened out. RSI has flattened out. So for me, the dollar is not showing me any strength or weakness right here, right now. So dollar to me is a 0. Let's take a look at the yen. The yen has been atrocious this week, and we've been short the yen. It's been nice, but, it had a little bounce here. The yen is possibly setting up for another entry, but right here, right now, I'm looking at this saying, okay, it's above the parabolic SAR. The EMA is flat, and the RSI is going lower. That's a real mix here. So I think yen could be a good short off this rally later. Going into this report, I just don't think it's the trade right now. Let's go to Swiss franc. And you can say the Swiss franc is actually making a little bit of a turn. We've got a steepening EMA now. We're above the parabolic SAR. And look at this. This RSI is the highest it's been in days. So for me, I'm taking a look here at Swiss franc saying, okay, it's been in a pretty steep downtrend. Right here, right now, it's currently showing it's strengthening quite substantially. So Swiss franc, when you look at a velocity score, at this point right here, it is a +3. Now remember, whenever we trade news, we have to talk about time frames. If you're looking to buy Swiss franc and hold it for a week, this doesn't mean anything. This is a meaningless chart to look at. We're looking at a shorter term chart that this move is going to last, a couple hours to maybe a day at most. We need to make sure that our time frames are aligned with what we're looking for in a chart. But for right here, right now, Swiss franc is a +3. Take a look at euro. Now, the euro had a really the euro's been going up. So this is why I like the euro much, much better than the Swiss franc, because the Swiss franc has been in a downtrend and now it's barely bouncing. The euro's already been in an uptrend, and we just broke out of a really nice high base here just a little bit ago. So I know I saw a bunch of our traders are already long euro. That's definitely where you want to be. Euro is a strong +3. And here's the pound. You know, the pound is showing that it wants to go higher, and we've got this high base here. The problem is we've just got such overhead resistance up here. If we take a look, you know, it's got to clear out of this range up here on the pound basket. We have to wait for that range to be broken. So while pound is looking good, it's not ready to go here. Let's take a look at CAD, Aussie, Kiwi, and you can see the CAD has really started to weaken. And we've got a base here and a breakdown. Everything on CAD is negative. Negative EMA, negative parabolic SAR, negative RSI. So the CAD for me is an absolute short here. Aussie, really doing the same thing. After having a bunch of strength early in the week, we're starting to really give it back now. We've got some pretty steep moves on the EMAs, on the RSI, and on the parabolic SAR. Aussie is also a short. And if we go over to Kiwi, all right, Kiwi is we take a look at our velocity score. We've got RSI. It's really not in a trend. I'm going to give that a 0. We are below parabolic SAR, and the EMA is flat to down a little bit. So I'm giving this like a -1, -2. So if we take a look at where we are on our currency board right here, right now, this is it. This is where we sit. We've got strong euro, strong Swiss franc at the moment. Now remember, if you go in and take a look at trend scores, they're going to be a little different. But remember, on news, we really want to focus on what's happening right here, right now. And that's going to be all about velocity score. So we've identified euro, Swiss franc, but really euro is number 1. And what we've identified is Aussie and CAD are the worst. So we are going to be looking at trading Euro Aussie and Eurocad going into this press conference. And before we jump into the press conference, it starts here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Remember, there's 3 ways to trade news: before the news, on the news, and second stage. It's almost impossible to enter on the news during this kind of announcement because we don't know if there is a question that surprises the market in the press conference. We don't know when that's going to be. So it's very, very difficult to get in on the news. So for me, this is a second stage entry. We're going to throw orders out there. We've already had the big move up in euro. So the only thing that can happen is continuation or reversal. And that's a real theme we have at Maverick: continuation or reversal. We know what the move has done. We don't know how long it's going to go for, but we definitely know what it's done. And right now, our euro is showing relative strength. So let's go ahead and jump into trading platform. Like I said, we are looking specifically at Euro Aussie and Eurocad. Now, here's a question: which one is stronger? Let's take a look. All we need to do, if we don't know which one is stronger, let's take a look at the Aussie CAD. And on the Aussie CAD, we can see the Aussie is actually a little bit weaker than the CAD. So we're going to be taking a look at Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie is going to be the trade that we are looking to make here. So let's go ahead and throw that into a chart. And now it's just a matter of finding, okay, where is our entry point? Where's our entry point? Let me get to a hourly chart. So again, nice breakout, about 149.50. About 149.50, nice breakout. We just need to determine, okay, where is our entry going to be? And I'm going to take a look back for some points here. We just cleared out of another resistance point that we had all the way back here at the end of May. We do have a lot of points in here. If you take a look at all the little points back in here, we definitely can say that there's likely to be a little bit of resistance up in here. If it can clear out of there, then it's really all the way up to 150, 170 until there is some resistance here. So now we've got our support and resistance lines. It's just a matter of a determination of, okay, where are we going to place orders? How are we going to get into this? So I'm going to be taking a look at the high we just made. The high we just made here on this candle is 150.19. So let's call it 150.20. So here's what I'd like to do when I set up these orders. Remember, we have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea anything. All we're going to do is saying, hey, we think there's going to be a continuation of euro. Now look, if you think there's going to be a reversal of euro, you're going to be playing euro short against something that's showing some strength. Maybe like the pound, maybe even the dollar. But I'm taking a look at playing on a continuation where it's going to continue. I'm going to take a look at this last hourly candle and say, hey, if we can go above the high on this hourly candle, I'm okay to get in, fully knowing that there is going to be a little bit of resistance in here. I'm going to have my stop placed below this 13 period EMA at 149.50. So this is going to be basically a 70 pip stop. So again, adjust your position sizes. And I'm going to be putting in a buy stop limit. So remember, we always use stop limit orders around news. The reason we do that is that we really want to control slippage. We really want to control where we get in. And I've got a buy stop at 150.20, and I'm going to put in a limit at 150.35. So basically, this is giving us a 15 pip window. That's it, a 15 pip window to get into this. And if it doesn't get into the trade between 150.20 and 150.35, then we just won't get in here. And of course, we always want to attach our stops. Let's go ahead and attach that stop order. And again, I've predetermined I'm going to use this 13 EMA as a trailing stop. And I simply will put it here 149.46 at the moment, but we're going to be raising this up as it moves. So let's go ahead and just make this order go live. We've got an order sitting out there on Euro Aussie. Now look, if someone said, hey, I want to do Eurocad, knock yourself out. Eurocad will be just fine. All right, hey, do we have any questions at all here? Press conference started 3 minutes ago. Like I said, this is a little bit different. We usually know to the second when we're going to get the move. And this time it's just, we don't know. We just don't know. We don't even know if we're going to get a move. We don't know when it's going to happen. So this is how you really have to trade these, is you determine, again, is there going to be a continuation? Is there going to be a reversal? And you set up your orders. And if you get triggered, you get triggered. If you don't get triggered, you don't get triggered. All right, I got it. One of our traders wants to take a look at Eurocad. All right, so let's take a look at Eurocad. The Eurocad looks, I don't want to say fairly similar, because we saw the euro has been strengthening over the past couple of days. The Eurocad has been going down over the last couple of days. However, we're getting a pretty major reversal here. So, like I said, if someone said, hey, Rob, I'm more interested in Eurocad, I think it's got more upside, I think you could have a very valid point here. Support and resistance areas, we're right around this point that we hit a couple of weeks ago. After that, we're going to be up to 135.87. As you can see here, it looks pretty similar to what we looked at on EURAUD, where there's some overhead resistance right here, right now. If it can get through that resistance, it's got some room to run about another 50, 60 pips until it gets into its next resistance level. Then after that, 136.50, 136.40, somewhere in these areas. So I do like, again, this is whether you pair it against Aussie or CAD. I don't think that matters all that much because this is a play on Euro. This isn't a play on short Aussie or short CAD, really. It's just we want to play Euro and we want to pair it against the weakest currency. So if you wanted to do the same trade setup that I did here on Eurocad, this is an hourly chart. Then the high of this candle here is about 135.42. 135.42 would be your buy stop limit. And then you'd throw your order out there on a stop at 134.80. So basically very similar trade here to Euro Aussie. I have a trader that wants to take a look at Euro dollar. So we've got Euro dollar here. Seeing fairly, similar patterns here. You can see that this has been more sideways. This is why I just don't like Euro dollar here. Is that, remember, we want to be looking for currency crosses that are moving, that are trending strongly, where there is a strong supply and demand imbalance. That's all we're trying to find. Remember, as traders, we just want to make money. We don't care where it is, how it works. We don't care. So the way you make money in trading is you get on the side where there's more buying or selling pressure. Because the only way a currency can go higher in price is if there's more buyers and sellers. So it's all about getting to the point where you are on the right side of supply and demand. All right, we just got filled on our Euro Aussie, so nice little breakout there. That's such a key thing to remember, and it's funny because we learn all the stuff about technicals, we learn all the stuff about the currencies and economics, and we forget how simple this is. Now look, simple does not mean easy, but simple it is that the only way you can ever make money in trading on a trade is if more people agreed with you than disagreed with you. Just think about that. We just went long at a certain price. We need more buyers to come in after us. If more sellers come in after we entered than buyers during our period of time, we're going to have a loss. The only way we can make money on a trade is if more buyers come in after us and the supply and demand picture of buyers to sellers stays imbalanced. Then we can make some money. That's all we're trying to do whenever we take a look at stuff like velocity score, we take a look at support and resistance areas, is we're trying to identify, okay, where are these waves of buying and selling going to come in? So I'm looking at Euro dollar and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's just, there's no real trend on it. We've got other currencies that are showing some really nice trends developing. So I think you should definitely look to trade those. So at this point, again, we are in. The currency is just not really doing anything. We've moved back down off that 150.20 area. So we're going to just manage our trade from this point on. We're going to use this EMA here, this 13-period EMA on a 1-hour chart. This is going to be our trailing stop. So as it moves higher, we're going to move things higher. At a certain point, if the trade works, we're going to be moving our stop to break even. And then at that point, we go into position management after that. Now, that's really all I have for you. Like I said, we could sit here and wait for a possible comment from Christine Lagarde, but the trade is the trade. We've set it up. No matter what is said during that press conference, that doesn't change anything on our trade. We don't make any discretionary decisions after this. So there's no reason to listen to the press conference. There's no reason to be spamming the news button, because this is the trade. You built the trade. Everything from here on out is going to be stimulus to try to get you to change your mind, to try to get you to doubt your trade, to try to get you to doubt your analysis. And all those thoughts and feelings are going to cause you to deviate from your position management system. which I've already predetermined is going to be simply following this 13-period EMA on a 1-hour chart until it breaks it. That's it. That's it. I've predetermined that. Everything other than that is a mistake. At this point, the trade is set, ready to go. All right, that's all I got for you. Everyone have a great rest of your trading day. And again, it's a Thursday, so Friday we'll be wrapping it up. We do have Canadian employment report tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. So if any of you looking to trade CAD, that's going to be the trade. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye, everyone.